Hey guys, Dan from Splash Guest House, Hebra, Japan here. Got a brand new Wavestorm, this beautiful Rasta kind of colours, which I think is new for this year. I've got a really cool package from Air 7, which I've been sort of following for a while now, and they've got these insanely good fins that you're going to be able to use with your Wavestorms. This is the 8.0 version, and I'm going to do an unwrapping of both and a setup of this new fin, and you'll be able to see how goddamn easy this is and how it's going to let you rip in the ocean even more. Totally sick. Let's get into it. Okay guys, so these are the standard fins you'll see here that the Wavestorms come with. We are not going to use these. You might actually be able to sell them online or something and get some money back to pay for your other sets of fins. So we get rid of those and we'll just finish unwrapping this and we're good to go. Hey guys, so I got my package from Air 7, which I'm just going to open up. It came today, and just take it all out there and see what we've got. Got one big US center box there, then another little package here. I'm just going to open this up and you're going to see what's in here. Exciting stuff. Awesome. These are pretty cool. They're, well, they're pretty light. And what these are, we've got is 1, 2, 3, 4 tab fin boxes, which are like, you know, you can use them for like FCS and stuff and things like that. They've all got like special tape on the bottom. We'll open that one in a second. That, which I already know what that is, that's actually we're gonna put that where the leash cord comes up and through. I'll know what to do with that. And then a big instruction kit. I already know what to do, so I don't actually need that. If you guys, it's the first time you haven't seen their online how-to-dos, you'll need to read those. But I don't need those. Anyway, so there they are, guys. Four regular fin boxes and one big center US fin box. And a little plug for your leash cord. That's it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get Gavin to zoom in for me, and I'm going to show you how to install this stuff, and then we'll be able to get out there on the water. Okay guys, so I've actually got this really zoomed in so you can actually see what I'm doing. So center box fin, 4 side fins. Okay, you want to stick your 4 side fins on before the center box fin, because it will make all the markings and things much easier. Good point to note is on the side boxes, there's on one end it's got an arrow. That's the part that you want facing forward up the board. Okay, really, really important. So we're going to talk a little bit, guys, about how to place our fins on the board, okay, as a quad setup. Now, to be honest, this is totally preferable to yourself. I've got a ton of regular shortboards that are all 5 fin, and what I did is I took a ton of measurements off of there and I found like the average, and I'm going to use that setup on this board. And again, the beauty of this, you know, like for me, I've got a few of these boards, so I'm going to actually, you know, just mess around with them over the next sort of 6 months and do the next one slightly different to see if it makes any difference. But to be honest, for most people, when you're riding these, if you're riding it as a quad, I don't think you're going to really feel that much of a difference, of course, unless you have something super extreme like that. So how to go about this? I've sort of, what I've come up with is this nice way. You get a whiteboard marker, so you'll be able to write on this surface like this, and then you obviously later on you'll be able to rub it off really nice and easily, just with a piece of towel. So what I'm going to start with is I'm actually going to start just making a couple of marks from the tail, from the outside of the tail, and up to 20 centimeters, like this. One here and then one from this side at 20. And that will give me a line across my tail, which, like this. There we go, guys. So that's just giving me a nice straight line across my tail as a reference. Then we've already got these 2 holes here, which is where the original Wavestorm push-through fins would have been. And what I want my first set of fins to pretty much go over the same place, but a teensy-wincy bit more forward, because I'm going to set it up as a quad. So what I'm going to do is, and how do I get them straight on the board, you know, instead of that way or this way? Again, I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to draw a line directly through the center of the existing holes, exactly through the center. Okay, take your time on it, and I'm going to run it straight through the center. Okay, like that, and that will be my little reference line. And then the same on this side. Again, dead center, so you know you've got the angles right. Okay, again, take your time, like this. There we go, guys. So I've got my 2 lines for my outside boxes, and I'll talk about where I'm going to place that one in a minute. But as you can see here now, I've got, with the arrow on the front of the box itself, I've got something to line it up with. Now, where am I going to place my inside boxes? Well, that's pretty simple as well, because now I've got these straight lines here. What I'm doing is I'm just going to make another line, and I've chosen 6 centimeters from my existing line for this measurement. Okay, and again you're going to see why with the placement of the box. And then I'm just literally going to join those lines up, you'll see, and with the back line here, which I originally drew. Same the other side, 6 centimeters. Fin placement, rocket science. Is it? Whoa, we're going to find out. So, not taking so long at the moment. You want to obviously do this somewhere nice and clean. If you can do it at home on your living room floor and your wife's not going to kill you. Or outside in the garden's fine. Again, just join this line up, cross that back line. So you're going to see, guys, that now I've got the 4 lines on my board, and they're in exactly the same place either side. So what it's going to do is, effectively, you'll see here when I'm going to line my fins up, is, so this back line, the reason why I made that back line, that 20 centimeters from the tail, is the rear end of this fin box, which is flat, I can actually put that onto that line, so it just touches the line, and line up the front arrow on the front of the line. And then you see I've got the perfect placement. If I did the same on the other side, then you know that what you've got there is you've now got the same placement for fin boxes either side of the lines. Okay? So what we're going to do is I'm going to now show you how to actually stick those on, and that's where you want your actual fins to put in the fin boxes. That will just allow you to hold the fin boxes better when you come down to sticking them on. Okay? See you in a sec. Alright guys, so we're going to stick this first fin box down. So this is where your fin comes in handy, because you can just push it into the fin box, and that, as you can see, gives you something really solid to hold in your hand. Now, the only measurement we didn't talk about before is how far back on this line are you going to stick the first fin. So again, we worked out that if you just measure 2 centimeters back from that hole, that first hole, and draw a line, then you know that's where you're going to stick your fin. That's where it's actually going to stick down. Okay guys, so you'll see here I've now got a back line to line up with, and my arrow on the front, which is just going to line up with the front, and that's my fin placement. Okay, nice and simple. Don't worry about the lines underneath the fin. This tape's more than strong enough to deal with a little bit of marker board, and of course all the other black lines will come off as soon as we've stuck it down. So you're going to see on the bottom of these fins that they're basically covered in this white stuff. Now it's actually super duper strong double tape. It's really, really easy to get off. Now again, what you want to make sure is you're pretty much going to only have one go. It's kind of like, you know, those, I think I had those, you know, those sports camera mounts that stick to the front of your board, that, you know, you take your cameras out in the surf and stuff. It's the same principle as that. But this stuff's just ridiculous because you've got so much surface area. Once it's actually stuck down, it just doesn't come off. But that's why we're going to like just test it to hell. But they've told me they don't come off. So what we're going to do, it looks like there's a few pieces. We're just going to peel these off, real easy like this. Again, try not to drop the fin or anything as you're taking these off. Again, just take your time taking these off. I'm just going to stand up to do this so I can get the right angle and line. And what I generally do is I start at the back and push it down front ways because you can kind of line it up as you go. So you're going to see here, I've got it lined up with the back line just there. I'm just going to touch the back of the fin down like this, and that will allow me to go back to the front and then turn around and line up the arrow on the front. That's it, and then I'm just going to start pushing it down. That's it, and then I'm going to start pushing. Just push it down nice and hard. That's it. They say in the instructions you want to kind of like give it a real solid push. I'm just using my thumb to do that for now, but what I'll do later is once I've got all four stuck on, is I'm going to put this on the floor and I'm actually going to stand on these to get some real solid weight and get a real solid push down on there. But pretty much you're going to see this, that once that's down there, that's all really not coming off. So awesome stuff. So that's our first one done. And then if you remember, our line on the second one is just going to allow me to stick this one down again like that. So same deal. Just turn around and take off the tape like this. And yeah, I'm super excited to get this out in the surf. There's some excellent waves this morning. I was out on my other Wavestorm with just the traditional fins, and they just didn't give enough grip on some of the bigger stuff. So again, we're just going to line that up with the back line in the center. Just tack it, and then go back to that arrow on the front, and then line it up with that line, and push it down. Just stick it, and we're good. I can take out the fin, and then I can turn around and really like start to push this onto the board. Again, just like those sports action cameras, not rocket science. There we go. 2 done. Wow, that is very sticky. Holy smokes. Wow. Okay guys, so what I'm going to do, you see me do those 2. I'm just going to stick on the other 2. You don't need to see that. And then we'll talk about the center box fin and how to attach that. Great. Alright guys, so I'm going to talk to you now about this thing, which to be honest I'm super excited about because this gives me so many fin options. The US center box fin plate, yeah, and how we're going to stick that onto the board. So same principle, we kind of got to line this up. You're going to see it's got this leash cord coming through it, which is pretty obvious it's going to go through that hole. But even once that's through the hole, how do we kind of line it up so it's straight? So pretty simple stuff. I'm going to just take that leash cord out of the base plate first. And again, just easy. They've got us 2 holes already. So I'm just going to turn around and draw a line through here, as long as my ruler is. And then just extend that line. So I've only got a 30 centimeter ruler. And I know the fin box is going to go a bit further than that. So there you go, easy peasy. And you see it's got a hole here. That's obvious, it's just going to line up with the existing hole on the board. There's no actual line or anything on this fin box, arrow. But again, it's pretty simple. You could just, again with this whiteboard marker, you can just draw one yourself. And then you've got the line to line it up with your line on the board. Apart from that guys, again, you're going to see this one, monster of a plate, and these, they feel and look absolutely blooming indestructible. So it's got again the big white tape, monstrous amounts of it. And we're just going to take that off. Looks like it's just 2 pieces, nice and easy. There we go, guys. This one, because it's nice and big, it's kind of got this rail to hold on to. I just find sticking my finger in the centre kind of gives me something nice and tight to hold on to. Then what we're going to do, again, just start at the back, line up those holes, which is where the original one was. Just kind of tack it down, and then it allows us to move to the front of the box and really line up that front fin. And then on this one, I'm actually going to just put a lot of pressure on the back and kind of just move upwards as I go to push it in and push it on. And there we go. And just again, this one, you know, they say you can just push it all down with your hands and things like that. Again, just when I used to do my sports cameras on the front of my surfboards, I kind of learned through experience that I weigh 73 kilos, and I can't push with 73 kilos worth of force. So putting it on the floor in a minute and standing on it will actually work. But there we go, guys, look at that. Pretty much there's our fin box is stuck on the board. We're pretty much good to go. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this off and just stand on it quickly on a towel. And then once I've done that, obviously you'll see now, I can actually then just take this piece of towel, and I can actually go back round and clean off all these dirty marks, and so our board is back nice white and clean, and yeah, job done, guys. Wow, awesome. So I'll come back to you in a second once I've cleaned all this up and put some pressure on them, and I'm going to show you the fun part with some fins. Awesome. Okay, guys, going to talk about how to attach this leash cord. Comes with a leash cord and this little piece of pipe, which is like a little bit of gas pipe or something. You'll see the reason for that in a minute. Pretty simple stuff. Just take it, hole in the fin plate, just stick it down and through there, lift up the board, and then flip the board over. There's a little piece of string attached to the leash cord. Keep that on there. The reason is, what you're going to see now is this little pipe. The board has holes in it, obviously, from the original fins, and on the original fins of Wavestorm, the back fin had the attachment for the leash cord, like a little tab, and we're not going to use that anymore, and we're not going to use this leash cord because I prefer using my standard leash cord. So what we're going to do is we're just going to take this little piece of string and we're going to pop it through that pipe, and that will allow you then to pull this pipe over the leash plug. And what we're going to do, this you see this little piece of hose is actually the perfect width and size for the leash cord, you see, and it just fits in that hole perfectly. So now what you've got is actually, if you look at it, it's a pretty good little solution actually. Is you've got something, that leash cord now can't rip through the foam because it's actually just going to pull on this little piece of pipe. I suppose this one at the moment is sticking out about maybe half a centimetre or something. If your leash cord wouldn't fit through that hole, you could just like cut down this little pipe a little bit more if you didn't like that sticking up. But I'm going to leave that there because, again, surfing big waves, I want something that will stop anything pulling through this board. Then you just take some scissors and actually cut off this little piece of string, and job is done. And it's kind of like your old school longboard leash cords. There's no way that can pull through. It's got the knot underneath. It's kind of it's just not going to happen. The leash cord would break before breaking the board, I reckon. And so job done. There we go. So I'm just going to zoom back out again, and then I'm going to talk to you about a few fins and whatnots, and we'll be good to go. Alright guys, so as you know, centre box fin. So this is a 9-inch hard fin, and this is just a thumb screw, which I use on all my boards. Thumb screw just goes into the centre plate, like on any box, and then you can take that thumb screw out nice and easy. Now, check it out, I'm able to put this fin into this rail and rack it down and just turn that thumb screw into the plate, lock it down, and hey presto, I've now got a Wavestorm board with a 9-inch single fin, epic for just styling, cruising, having fun. Hard fin, one fin setup. Let's crack on to the next one, which I like playing with, and I'm really excited with, to be honest, is Air 7 have this size fin, which I use in my SUP actually quite a lot, which is a 4.5-inch fin, and I can put that in the centre box just like this and crank it down. Interesting enough, a lot of guys who do river SUP use these as well. They're a little bit flexy, but still just a little bit, so there's a little bit of give there, but obviously this nice low profile. What that will allow me to do is then take two of my side fins and just whack them in the side fin boxes. Obviously then you take your screw them all down, and then we have this. I can move this backwards and forwards, and again I'm going to be able to play with that fin selection, that 3-fin selection, but I've pretty much got a tri-fin setup, which is awesome, and because there's a little bit of flex in here, again it's going to have this real nice loose feel. Keeping these two side fins in, get this, how sick is this? This is their 3-inch thing. I call it the shark fin because it's just this thing's sick. I love this fin. I ride this in my fin a lot, in my SUP a lot. But now, if you see, then the only thing, they've got the fin tab on the other end on this one. This fits in again in the centre box fin. Just push it the whole way back, and check it out. Look at that. So we got like a tri-fin going on with like this little stubby riser. So straight away in my head, what this is telling me is it's gonna real skaty, loose, probably really good for small waves, so I can start pumping, stuff like that. But check this out. If I want to drop down even smaller, this is insane. This is why I love Air 7, and these things are just absolutely cheap as chips. Check this out. It's 2.5-inch low profile. It's like some super stubby riser or something, but they go in the side fins. Again, so check it out, a Wavestorm, can you believe it? Look at this, a Wavestorm with like super sleek, sharp, what do you call them? Like side fins with this absolute super low profile center fin. This thing I reckon get some weight up the nose will allow me to do 360s, but still maintain a fin system once I'm down in that bottom turn and running around, like scooting down the line. Just insane. How cool is that? And everything. So, like I say, I absolutely love this fin. Simple as this though. Now, by the way, how many times have we changed the fins on a Wavestorm compared to one set of fins? Let's go for something different. Let's just go, a lot of the standard longboarders will know this, an 8-inch fin. 8-inch fin. Let's get rid of those little skinny ones, the tiny ones. They just come out real easy. And again, let's go back to a couple of side ones. There's your standard tri-fin longboard setup. A lot of guys riding SUPs will know this. We can move that back and forward again. It's just a really all-round good sort of fin setup for when the waves are kind of medium-sized, cruisy, but you want to be able to run up the nose a little bit, but you also want to maintain that little bit of looseness, stuff like that. I could go on and on and on about all this for hours, and I'm just going to show you a couple more because I'm so excited. Look, here we go. We haven't done this one yet. Did someone just say that we got a Wavestorm quad setup? How bonkers is that? So what do we know quads to do? Super fast down the line when you're not really looking to turn and go off the top and the bottom. You're just looking for down the line speed. So excited about getting this in the water and getting sort of barrel style waves and seeing how much drive this gives me on this board in the water. I really love it. I think that's awesome. I'm just looking here. I'm going to play with this for hours, by the way. Check it out. A quad setup with these just insane little rear fins. I hope you're excited as I am, because I'm going to stop talking pretty soon, and that's just bonkers and get this thing out on the water. There we go, let's pull these out and then have one quick look, last look at what have we got. We've got, you know, I mean, you know, if I was just playing, really just being silly and just wanting to play out in the waves and mess around, really small, like just a foot big but really cruisy waves, I'd take it out like that. It's like almost going finless, 360 helicopters, sliding the tail out, stuff like that. Just, yeah, just insane. I kind of know that because I ride this a lot in my SUPs. And I've got one modified shortboard with the centre box, so I kind of, not a shortboard, sorry, a fun board, so I know it works. Last but not least, I'm going to show you this. I know Air 7, pretty soon they're going to come out with this whole range of fins that they got. By the way, they've got these fins in like blues, reds, greens. I've got some over in the display case. And these, you're going to see that these are kind of opaque. So these are kind of like a flexi fin, okay, versus like a really hard fin. Now there's some, they use special plastics like TPU and these other weird names, I don't know, I'm not a scientist, I just know they work. So yeah, hard versus flexi. So just letting you guys know, if you go to school, these things are magic because they don't break. Okay, look at that, I'm just bending. It just doesn't break. So, you know, you've got people riding these things up onto the sand, a hard fin, bing, it's going to tear a fin box out or something like that. This thing, bing, it's just going to bend. And I know that again because I use these in our stand-up paddleboards for beginners versus the hard one. So anyway, the whole range, they're going to come out with this new system. Okay, and I'm going to talk to you about that in another review pretty soon. But it's a pretty cool system. It's a screwless fin system. Okay, and I'm just going to show you quickly with this. I'm not going to rabbit on about it because it's not really relevant to our Wavestorm session. But pretty much, check it out on the centre box fin. On the side, I'll just move that so you can see I'm not doing anything. And it's got these special like things in it which just squidge into the centre box. And hey presto, job is done. Did I say that fins in there, haven't messed around with screws and stuff like that? The reason I love these and I'm so excited is when you have like 10 of these as a school or something like that, I stack them all nice and flat, and taking fins out and stuff is a nightmare, especially if they've got sand and everything in the gutters and everything. So, but these, oh, I could just pull that out of there like that. There's my board without any fins. Bang, 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 in the car, off we go again. And of course, you know, if anyone is just ripping down the beach and stuff like that, just to, you know, not to have to mess around with screws and whatnots and be able to, you know, bang, there it is. Oh, hang on, I just want it further back in my fin box. Bang, job done. You know, I mean, what are we talking about? So, absolutely awesome. Anyway, guys, I've talked a long time about fins and system. You saw how we stuck it on. I'm really stoked about this. I love Wavestorms. This one's ready to go in the water. I'm going to ride it as a quad tomorrow morning because I think it's going to be 3 to 4 foot and really heavy shore break straight up front, which means there'll be no one there. They'll all be down the main peak, getting the easier waves. And we'll see how this thing performs in the water. But I hope you like this review. If you're ever in Japan, check out Splash Guest House and come surf with us at the famous break of Hebra. Thanks very much, guys. I'm Dane. See you soon.